And it looks like we're live. What's going on, everyone? Bo here. It's been a while. Let me make sure my mic's recording. And I'm doing another live stream today. So let me bring up my Photoshop here. Let you see what I'm working on. I can probably make this a little bit bigger here. There we go. So we're doing this this sketch of of Adam Jensen here from Deus Ex. Deus Ex is one of my favorite franchises, basically since the first one. I don't know if I mean it's pretty popular, but before this dude, Adam Jensen, really took over the series, he stars in the prequel of games. But I'm talking about the old Deus Ex, like in 2001 or something, or 2000. Awesome computer game. Anyway, I'm doing a sketch of him, and I'll show you guys some not really tricks, but how I do things. I'll pop in here in the chat box and see if anybody is hey Itachi, what's going on? Welcome to the live stream. Thanks for joining. I'll pop in this chat box periodically and see if anybody has any questions. Feel free to shoot those or comments or anything like that. So the first thing I do when I'm sketching something, and as you can see, I've already gotten pretty far in this. This was about 30 to 35 minutes, somewhere around there, yesterday with Zia Taptara. He does a live stream every day at 2 p.m. Central Time, and you can catch me live streaming with him on his channel, Zia Taptara. So, yeah, go look at that. But the first thing I do when I try to sketch something, is I get a good reference image. And this one I picked out, it's a wallpaper. And it's already rendered, CG rendered and all that good stuff. But it has good lighting, and that's the first thing I really look for, is the dynamics between the light sources here. You can see some good lighting on his hair, on his cheekbone, we've got some rim light going on here, so good shadows. And secondly, it's good because I've never really handled this type of material, his prosthetics. It looks kind of like a ceramic or a type of flexible metal, so I've never really handled painting material like that, so I really wanted to try to emulate that. Anyway, so you find your good reference image. You're always probably going to use reference images unless you're just incredibly trained with your mental library. So I get that, and then I like to mess with values first, because when you go to color, if your value game is really weak, then your color game is also going to be weak. You're not going to fix anything by skipping, lackluster values and then moving on to colors. You're not going to have any kind of improvement and fix your piece. So I start with values, and it's just good to train anyway. So I try to get as close to this as I can. So I basically go to my image adjustments and I convert the image to black and white, right? Everybody with me? Awesome. Another viewer. Well, thanks, guys. So first thing you want to do is, after you convert that, I find a good light situation for my background to work with, and that's what we have. Is I've used just kind of a very light gray to work off with. You don't want the background to blend in with most of his face, right? So you want to have that difference in values. And after that, let me kind of show you. Let's get a good gray here. I'll start with basically 100% opacity on a brush, on a hard brush, and I start sketching his silhouette. And I get it as close, here's the top of his hairline here. I get it as close as I can. And, you're not looking for accuracy. You're just looking for close shapes. You know what I mean? And this would be like something like his head, right? And then afterwards, you can take your eraser and at 100% opacity as well, start making differences, and those changes. So that's basically how I got to this point. Now, I say 100% opacity because in art, I've discovered over the past about 3 or 4 weeks that the silhouette read is one of the most important things you can have, right? So basically, this is going to be the view that people see when they bring it up on their mobile device, when they see it on a website. They're not going to be looking at it from way up here, right? Nobody's zooming in like that. I mean, maybe after you've looked at it for a little bit, but nobody's zooming in like that. So to have it zoomed out, which is why I'm starting to paint in a zoomed out manner, to have it zoomed out and to see a good silhouette, that is what your eyeball is going to recognize right off the bat. So it's important that you don't really go into it with like a 20% opacity, right? Because now it's really blurry, and you know, you can save that stuff for the textures for inside, right? But you want that good silhouette read. You know, this isn't perfectly matching this, but that's okay. We know that just from seeing this automatically, everybody knows it's Adam Jensen, right? Hey, what's up, man? How's it going? Nigon77, just let me see, I'm bad with names. Patrick, right? It's Patrick. Awesome. Welcome to the live stream. You have any questions, feel free to ask. Okay, so now that I've babbled on about how I've come to this point, let's start painting. So again, and here I'm making a classic mistake. You don't want to go all the way black, you don't want to go all the way white. So let's bring this down. Now that I've had a day in between when I started the sketch yesterday, I can kind of see a little bit of flaws here, and I'm not going to really get, you know, this won't be perfectly matched, but, you know, we want it to resemble the source and the reference. Like his nose, it has a, it almost has a hump shape in his nose, but, you know, in history and stuff, I kind of started thinking about it. I could straighten this thing up, but I really don't care. In history, if you look at, you know, noses like that, Greek, Roman, there's a lot of power and strength involved. So, you know, little changes like that can really give, or, you know, he kind of looks like he's got more wisdom too. When you kind of go for imperfections and stuff, this is like, you know, basically perfect features. They've given him some sharp features too, because you can kind of go like rogue with his decisions. So he's got sharp jawbones, a sharp beard that kind of resembles, you know, all the childhood drawings of Satan that we've done. So he's got aspects that could make him good or bad, and it's interesting to think about these things when you draw them. Anyway, hey Sam, what's going on? Welcome everybody. Hope everyone is going great. Yeah, I pop in here. A lot of people have another monitor. I don't. I have an iPad. I'm too lazy to set it up, so I pop in here and answer questions. And it also gives me a break to come back to the screen and see if I've screwed up anything beyond fixing. So that's another thing. And I'm going to get a good light gray here. So you want to work between, you know, like 15%. If this is 0 and this is 100, white and black, right? You want to work between like 15, maybe 20%. To 80, 85%. You know, you don't want to go all the way, because this is reserved, and I've said this a million times, this is reserved for the hottest light source. This is reserved for areas that light is unable to reach. So we're going to pop in about right there and continue this sketch here. And I don't know how long I'm going to sketch today, because I want to save some room for Zia's live stream. I like to have some material ready for him, but I wanted to kind of get ahead. My goal is to get this color ready to where I'm able to color it today on his live stream, and then you guys can pop in and watch that if you want to. Hope everyone's having a happy new year. Any resolutions out there? Maybe get awesome, get better. I think that's my goal. We're just simply emulating what we see here, you know. Notice this is a very dark gray. You know, it's a kind of a nice mid-tone there, really rich-looking color, and we're emulating that as close as we can. A lot of people use pin pressure. I don't. I like to use my bracket keys to adjust size, and my opacity, I use my number keys, and that seems to be sufficient for what I do. Pin pressure, you know, there's nothing wrong with using it. I just find it, I'm kind of an analytical guy, so I like things exactly the same, consistent. You know, that way if I find something that works, I can go back to that, and it's going to work the same way. Let's see here. So we'll fix his gun. His gun is just, again, just a blocked in shape. Awesome. And I'll do this foreground object like last. That's really not too important there. Let's go in here. I think 20% would be too much for this. Oh, it's an eraser too. Make sure you have the correct thing selected. Always do that. Yeah. And he kind of has this strap here. Not really sure what that is. Just part of his armor. I think he wears like this vest. I think that's what's going on there. And I love this character. He looks awesome, doesn't he? It's a pretty cool looking character. That's real rough. Just every little thing, you know, it's important that when you start painting and that you're not doing drawings by symbolism. You know, a lot of people do that. They'll pull up a reference and they'll say, oh, you know, he's got an eyeball. So they'll just make that connection that the person they're drawing has an eyeball, and they'll draw, you know, the typical oval with the retina and iris and all that, and they won't actually look at what they're drawing. So draw what you see, not what you think you see. And listen, like I said, like I was making the point on his nose earlier, it's okay to deviate. That's okay. You know, my goal here isn't 100% accuracy, but I also want to make it in the same hand to where everybody knows that I'm drawing Adam Jensen, right? Because, you know, the more I change it up, the more it's my art piece and not me just copying exactly the wallpaper, right? So we're going to go about 30% here, and we're going to draw this like weird little thing. I don't know. Looks like maybe I can already see that. I think I tried to draw it before and it wasn't really making sense. I think I drew it too thick or something. I don't know. That's good for now, and then we can come over here and hit these with little highlights. My chat room here. Everybody's popping in and out. Other things going on, that's cool. Life has been very busy. I haven't done a lot of videos lately. Not really sure when I'll get back to kind of more of a regular schedule. And I have so many videos already that people have yet to really see, so you know. All right. So there's a couple more like darker spots in his hair that I want to make more profound. You know, like he has a hairline. Definitely want to give him his hairline, right? There we go. Just doing that simple thing really tied his head together there. Always messing with opacity and brush size. Yeah, I'll fix this up here. I don't know. I kind of like it where it looks painterly a little bit, you know. It's kind of my thing. And then right away, let me use my dropper here. Let's pull one of those colors, and let me fix his hand. The silhouette is not accurate, so we're going to block it in. That's more of what we're going to be replicating here. And then there's some discrepancies with his gun. That's what I mean, you know, just draw that initial silhouette and shoot for as close as you can get it, and then you can come in and cut away at these later, right? And then also one thing I do, I'm talking a lot today, is look at negative spaces. You know, like this space between his two hands, this space right here could be improved. It's going to help you determine angles and perspective, and also, you know, how close something is. Just a lot that goes into it, more than you. There's a lot that your brain automatically kind of puts together that you don't think about when you're teaching back to people until later. There we go. You can tell just small little things that I do really pull things together in this. This spot up here is a little bit too bright. There we go. How are we doing out here, folks? Doing good? Awesome. We're 15 minutes in. I'll probably paint for another 20 minutes or so, maybe 25. Sorry, sucking on a cough drop. I have to. In Texas, it's crazy weather. That's about right. So let's start detailing those hands. We're going to start out with 60% opacity. That'll be pretty bright. Brighter than you think. And this gun, I'm not really gonna, I mean, whatever. There's some details on here that won't be exact. I don't care. Doesn't matter. It's not the important part of the piece. Let's go down to 20% here. And that's what I do, is I just eyeball the stuff and I think, okay, this is, you know, it's kind of a, I get this almost white color, and then I think, okay, this is you know, I kind of eyeball that opacity. It's something that you train yourself to do. Guess I can't think of the right way to say it. You just practice every day and things become natural to you. Okay. Looking pretty good here. And when I started the stream, I was talking really heavily about getting your silhouette together. And now that I'm at his hands, and I'm really seeing that you can't differentiate his fingers and the details here. That's kind of what I mean. Now you can see how important the silhouette is. You can't really see the details in his hands, but you know their hands and you know their fingers because of the strong silhouette read. And then you can just touch up with little lights, and what do you know? You know, you've got some hands there. I don't know, it's just, art is so cool. It's just awesome, the different things you start noticing. Here, let's go in here, because this part of the silhouette is making this thumb look pretty large. And then we want to go in here with 100. There we go. Let's save all the time. I never had any issues until the other day. I had a power outage. And thankfully I wasn't painting, but it kind of made me start being a little bit careful on my saves and all that good stuff. Yeah, there's still some areas here that could improve. Let's go a little bit darker than that on this, and then we'll go like 20%, and yeah, we'll hit this area kind of like right there on his gun, and then we can go 10% and just kind of give little touch-ups here and there to give the impression that there's a light situation it looks like they have going on. And then a lot of times you can just get you know, a brush and just tap it at really low opacities, and you'll get those nice textured effects now. You know, but if you go dark, it's going to take a higher opacity, right? Like I'm going 90% right now because it's a little bit too dark. Yeah. And then just kind of play on these areas. We know there's a light source from over here, from the back. obviously right there. When the back is lit, you're going to see a lot of rim light, and then the front areas will be darker. And then there's also another light source, like from behind this like tree or whatever. I don't, probably not a tree. It's probably like a wall or something. His head actually kind of looks like it's a weird shape, like not exactly the shape that it needs to be in. So let's come down here. It's kind of like too much of a bubble head. There we go. Going good? Patrick, Sam, everyone? Okay. We're almost at the point to where when I pick this up on the live stream today with Zia, that I will be ready to give it its first pass of color. I say the first pass because you're going to color it and you're going to say, oh, there's some touch-ups I need to do. So, let's give some black right there. It probably doesn't look like much is going on, actually, for you guys. So, but stuff is happening. Get some light glistening here. Small, we'll go pretty small with this brush here. Yeah. Awesome, awesome. Okay. And looking pretty good. Let's accent some of these places on his gun. I'll go in here and I'll make this a little bit more defined. There's a lot of, oh shit, don't do that. There's a lot of, I guess the way I paint, there's a lot of strokes that I'll just go back and immediately delete until I get it perfect. Like that. There we go. And then, oh, there's an important part right there. Is this a... merge those layers. I had two layers going on for no reason. Save. Start sketching this shoulder piece right here. Yep. Too bad. There we go. Pretty close. You guys are quiet today. A quiet bunch. This is kind of messy right here. Let me see what I can do about that. There we go. Awesome, awesome. We're getting there. If we want, let's see what we can do here about getting this object that he's leaning against. Look how slow that is. You know, who cares what it is? It doesn't, I really don't know. But just giving the impression that he's leaning on something. Yeah, and then it's got kind of some light hitting it. It's got some rim light. I guess I could do that. Let's see here. Pain in the butt. Rim light's a really good way to... I might not do the rim light. To define a figure. If we came in here and... Let me see. It's a good way to sell the form of a figure. So if you know, it just kind of reinforces the silhouette. So you can see the rim light I have around here. It's actually got some on his glasses right there. I'm going 100% with this. That way it's just a good strong silhouette. It's also got something right there that's kind of even outlining his Fu Manchu or whatever that is. It kind of makes his chin more readable. So rim light's a pretty strong tool. You don't want to go too crazy with it. You want to use it sparingly and keep your light sources in mind. You know, it has to make sense within it, but it's a good way to sell that silhouette read. And it's looking pretty good. Just make some detailed touch-ups here, right? So oh, I do that like all the time where I think I have the brush selected, but I don't. There we go. And you know, this thing's like a little bit closer to him in the picture, but whatever. Tell you what, we can even play with the background right now. I will do some lighter colors. Let's pull a soft brush. So we'll give that impression that things are unfocused. We'll go a little 30% here. Brighten that area up. Also, this up over here. Not too much. And then we're going to go dark up here. Whoops. Started grabbing other elements too. It's probably a little bit too dark. There we go. Save that. And we can start like, what? Yes. Oh, I think I closed it. Well, that's okay. So I wanted to end the live stream right there. Anyway, let me see. Do you have any questions? Before I end it, I'm going to pick this back up at, I know you guys come from Zia, but I'll tap it anyway. So, will it let me type in a link here? Okay, cool. So, at 2 p.m. Central Time here in the States, I will be finishing this up. Oh, I opened up Bridge. There we go. And you guys can come and see the colored version, at least a pretty good dent in it. I probably have about an hour left of work on that piece. But thanks for joining, guys. I really appreciate you. And I will see you here in a couple of hours if you pop in on Zia Stream. Thanks, guys. Take care.